Okay, here's one for you. 2025. Is this going to be another woke year? Or are we at the end of this woke era? And, you kind of see what's going on here, right? Canada's Prime Minister, the ultra liberal, alt left Justin Trudeau, he's resigned. He's basically ruined Canada within 10 years. He's destroyed it. There's no housing. Whatever housing there's, pretty much either garbage, right, or it's unaffordable. And when we say garbage now, we've moved into this whole scam here where a developer buys some land, usually not very good land. They'll put up as many low quality houses as fast as possible, sell you the house, and then close the company. Like, this happens, right? We have a neighborhood just up the street where that happened. The houses were poor quality, so they dissolved the corporation, and then 6 months later, when everybody's basements were flooding and the foundation was cracking, the company's nowhere to be found because they made their money and they just knew what was coming. So that's it. So you see what's kind of happening here, right? They've kind of screwed up everything from, with immigration, with illegal immigrants, with refugees. The landscape's changed, jobs have changed. Of course, see, America, the US used to be a very big outsourcer of jobs to Canada, especially in the service industry. So the thing was that Canada, being right across the border, had lower wages, but it was, very similar people, similar dialect, all English speaking, no crazy accents, whatever. So this is why Canada was preferred to be outsourced for services instead of places like Mexico or India. And then when they did do India and everybody had backlash, they left India, moved, call centers and everything to Canada. Now, Canada under Trudeau raised taxes so high, raised so many different, conditions, and, they needed to have regulations and conditions and this and that. And so it became hard, right? Because at some point, it's just as expensive or more expensive to hire a Canadian than it is an American. And even though Americans make more money in America, it's just all the taxes and everything else that make it very difficult for businesses in America to come over here and be competitive and hire Canadians or even outsource to Canada. So it's not very good. So that's a huge problem on that side. And you could just keep going on and on, whether it's the anti-freedom, anti-conservatism, just anti-common sense, the open pockets, we want to give all your money away to everybody of the Trudeau government. It's all your fault, they said. You guys are all racists. We didn't even vet people. We had all these terrorists come in, and people that we didn't even vet, we just were handing out citizenship and passports to everybody. Just, here you go. So come on, what a joke, right? Very, very woke. So Trudeau had to resign. His deputy prime minister resigned. Finance minister resigned. Chrystia Freeland, she resigned. She was useless, but she resigned. And then he had to resign. However, he prologued the government. He's screwing everybody up. Everybody just wanted him to resign, call an election. Let's get a new leader. But instead, we're sitting here as cooked turkey until March. Amazing. Right? So that was something new for 2025. Trump being the president again. What is the chance of having a second Trump presidency? That is some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen. For the amount of like controversy and issues and everything, would you have imagined that Trump would have made a comeback? Amazing. How amazing is that? So this is possibly the end of a woke era. Like, people are upset with, mass immigration, with wars, with refugees, with economic migrants, all these people from places like India that just want to, get to the Western world and kind of milk it, right? It's all about milking it. And we're talking smart people, a lot of smart people out there in this world. And when you could find a hole, I mean, if your specialty is finding all the holes in life and trying to take advantage of them, then I mean, shoot, Canada's a great place to be. So, I mean, sometimes you have to wonder if it's, their fault or your government's problem, right? So that's changed. The politics have changed. Democrats are turning into Republicans. Liberals are turning into conservatives. I mean, it's just really those hardcore alt-left people that are hanging on. And I mean, a lot of those alt-lefts are, they've lived and sucked on the tits of the government their whole lives, right? Like, in Canada, NDP, the Liberals, the Green Party, states, Democrats, right? It's probably a bunch of libertarians that are a joke too. And, as much as I kind of lean on the libertarian side of things, a lot of the new libertarians tend to be just nothing but kind of liberals. They tend to be ultra liberals. That's about it. So, who cares? Fuck them. Anyhow, so getting back onto 2025 on wokeness. Well, everything in 2024, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18 is like I'm counting backwards on civilization falling. So yes, very thought-provoking because, remember, a lot of these people that have been voted out and have been turned around are now wondering what to do with themselves, right? We had all sorts of craziness, right? People didn't know who they were. You didn't know what gender, what washroom you had to go to. You spent your whole life, you got to 30 years old and you couldn't figure out what bathroom you needed to go to anymore. What bathroom you wanted to go to was the hot political debate, right? We used to have just great food and great things, and now we have whining. People whine about food, where it came from, and who had to farm it, but it's not getting better. So why? Why? Why are we whining about it? Food's not getting better. We're getting more salmonella. People are being poisoned all the time, listeria, whatever, E. coli. So what is all this organic stuff doing? Are we doing anything good? Are we getting anywhere? No, but we'll point the finger and shame people, I guess, right? Video games suck. We used to have great video games, and video games went into being garbage. If you've ever played a video game lately, right, you're just dressing up and dancing around. Like dressing up and dancing around. There used to be a shooting game. You're playing Call of Duty and you're dressing up and you're dancing around and you are trying to figure out your gender. And it's not just like at work where you try to figure out what pronouns to use and what pronouns to call other people, and everybody gets upset and you just avoid people because you just don't know what's going on anymore. It's crazy. There's so much craziness. Like, we're just talking subtle bags of craziness. And now we're in 2025 And people say, wow, that woke era. Oh, imagine that. Remember when that happened? Do you think people are going to double down now? You see DEIs fading away. We're getting rid of gender quotas and diversity quotas and stuff like that. Are we done? Are we done trying to divide people into silos? Are you sick of being a thing, an it, a they, a them, right? Does this new era, does 2025, is this like a flashback to the 90s where people just worry about themselves and who they are, right? Nobody cared. You know, in the 80s and the 90s, if you were, you know, black or gay or had one leg or were a midget, you would just do your thing. You wouldn't care. I mean, it was what it was. What were you going to do? Right? Somebody may look at you. Somebody may not. I can't remember ever watching a movie and going, wow, you know, I hate all those people because of that guy. I hate people. I don't think anything became, you know, made people, you know, racist or sexist or prejudiced or, you know, we all watched Alien. We all watched Rambo. We all watched all these shows that had different people, different nationalities doing different things. And we never questioned if they were able to do it. So it changes the perception of the world now, where we look at something on TV and we have to question, hey, is that proper? Right? So hopefully we get better TV and better video games. They turn around and they correct all their mistakes and we could go back to having great things. Was this just, you know, a phase? It seems like everything goes through a phase every so often, right? So we did have that Me Too movement and that kind of dissipated. This woke thing seems like it's going to dissipate. And I mean, why? I mentioned the Me Too movement. What was interesting was at that whole time, that was a very interesting movement because it was focused on a lot of things that are now back. So maybe during the Me Too movement, it was popular to cover, basically wear a snowsuit to make sure nobody could see you and sexualize you. But now that's gone. And people just want to be themselves, right? I used to laugh at gluten, the whole gluten thing. Everybody's gluten free, gluten this or vegan this and vegetarian this. And these are all fads and they go and they come and they fade. And that's it. So, you know, 2025, here we go. The end of wokeness. Let's look forward to everything that's going to happen because it's either going to be a complete shit mess or it's going to be one of the most greatest things in the world. So let's wait and see. Until next time.